The wall has stood for thousands of years. Tonight it falls. A deep, guttural horn blast, loud, urgent, shatters the silence. Boots thunder across wooden planks. Torches ignite. Shadows stretch across frozen battlements. Men scramble to their posts, hands trembling on their weapons. A grizzled veteran, breath misting in the cold, grips his spear tighter.
That's not the wind.
His young apprentice, barely old enough to shave, swallows hard.
What do we do?
The veteran doesn't answer. His knuckles turn white against his spear. He has seen things before, but nothing like this. Beyond the wall, the storm thickens. Snow swirls violently. Shadows shift within the blizzard, silent, watching, waiting. Then a second horn blast, louder, more desperate. Once, men rush to their stations. Steel blades slide from scabbards. Torches blaze. Twice, the wind howls, carrying with it a terrible chill, an unnatural cold. The final horn blast, 3 times. The sound of doom, a terrible silence. Then, from the darkness beyond the wall, a shape moves. The dead. The horror beyond the wall. The storm rages, swallowing the night. Snow drifts in violent gusts, blinding the men atop the wall. But through the chaos, they are coming. At first, it is just one, a lone figure, pale and withered, emerging from the storm. It does not walk. It glides. Its skin is cracked and frozen, barely clinging to the sharp bones beneath. Its eyes burn an unnatural blue. Then, a second, a third, a dozen, 100. The White Walkers have come. Among them, a giant, or what once was one. Its massive frame, ribs exposed, blackened veins like frozen rivers. The ice has claimed it, but it still moves. The men on the wall stare, wide-eyed, as the monstrous thing lets out a sound. Not a roar, not a groan, but something far worse. A sound of emptiness. There is no heartbeat, no breath, only hunger. Castle Black, the rider arrives. Far to the south, through the endless white expanse, a lone rider gallops. His horse lathers with sweat. He does not slow. He cannot. His breath comes in ragged gasps. His eyes, wild with terror. The gates loom ahead, massive, ancient, unyielding, but they are not strong enough for what is coming. With a final, desperate cry, the rider bursts through the gates. His horse collapses beneath him, steam rising from its flanks. Men rush forward. The rider, face pale, lips cracked, stumbles forward, his knees buckling.
Who goes there?
The rider tries to speak, but his throat is raw. His lips tremble. His voice is a rasp, barely more than a breath. Finally, in a voice that does not sound human, he croaks out the words that no man ever wished to hear. Rider.
They're here.
Silence. Then, his body twitches, a sickening crack. His spine bends unnaturally. His fingers curl like talons. His head snaps upward. His eyes open. Blue. A guard reaches for his sword, but it's too late. The dead man moves. Chaos in Castle Black. Inside the Great Hall, panic spreads like wildfire. Commander.
Bar the gates. Light the fires. Stand ready.
Swords gleam. Crossbows are loaded. The men brace themselves. Then a scream. The fallen rider lunges. His stiff, icy fingers clamp around a guard's throat. The scream is cut short. A sickening crunch. The lifeless man rises again. The dead do not stay dead. Another corpse stirs. Then another. Then another. Men begin backing away. Their faces ashen. Their hands trembling. One soldier, young, desperate, raises his sword. He swings. The blade cuts deep, but the thing does not fall. It turns. It smiles. And then it lunges. Blood splatters across the floor. The wall begins to fall. Outside, the wall stands tall, eternal, unshaken for 1,000 years. Until now, a shadow moves beyond the ice, taller than any man, broader than any beast. A figure steps forward, clad in ice, reed in death. The White Walkers have come. At their center stands their king, a crown of jagged ice upon his head. His piercing blue gaze locks onto the wall. He raises a single, frozen hand. The storm surges. The ice groans. A crack snakes up the wall, thin at first, then spreading like shattered glass. Men above scramble. They cannot stop it. No man can. The wall, the great barrier that had stood for thousands of years, begins to fall. As the ice collapses, the Night King takes his first step forward. The long night is coming.